I'm joined in studio by our sports editor, Derrick Lynch. Derrick, good morning to you.
Morning, Alan.
We'll look back over some of the weekend's action, and we were hoping for an all-Clare semi-final in the Dr Harty Cup. You were previewing Flannan's quarter-finals, which was happening on Friday afternoon, and they came through it. Tough game, but they came through it by 4 points.
Yeah, showed huge character in the second half. There were 6 points down at half-time. Ultimately
To Our Lady Templemore.
Our Ladies of Templemore, yeah. 6 points down, conceded a soft enough goal. And we're 6 points down, and then ultimately won it by 4. Got 2 goals inside the opening 7 minutes of the second half, and did really, really well. So that's a 10-point turnaround in 30 odd minutes of hurling, which is a fair, that's fair going. And I think by their own admission, they'll probably be disappointed enough with the performance. But I suppose when you put it in the context of what a tough couple of weeks it had been for these young lads, TJ Chambers would have been a schoolmate, a classmate, a teammate, and a good mate of a lot of them, So at that age, you're dealing with that kind of stuff, and you just don't know what way kids will react, because that's what they are at the end of the day. They're young lads. Even though a lot of them would have senior or adult hurling experience and stuff like that. So I thought they showed a great deal of character, and there was a lovely interview with Brendan Bugler after the game on Clubber, where he kind of mentioned that fact. It had been a tough couple of weeks for the entire school community, and his thoughts were with TJ's family, and we echo that here as well. So great for them to come through. Sets up a really, really intriguing game with Tulla. There's derbies here aplenty. There's Clooney Quinn clubmates that'll be coming into direct opposition. There's 2 Whitegate clubmates over the teams in Brendan Bugler and Terence Fahey. There's under 20.
You must be delighted. A lot of narrative.
Yes, literally. we look for these things, don't we? You've a lot of Clare under 20 teammates. You could have a dynamic whereby the Clare under 20s might train on Thursday and these lads will play against each other on Saturday. So there's a whole pile in it. It's brilliant. And what it means, and I see a lot of people saying, and I can understand it, it's a pity they weren't kept apart, but ultimately it means there will be a Clare team in the Harty Cup final, and by getting to the Harty Cup final you're into your All-Ireland series as well. So for one of these 2 teams your year extends on by another couple of games, which is brilliant. Details of that haven't been confirmed yet, because it depends, I know we'll touch on it in a while, on tonight's game, because this Munster Senior League final is down for next Saturday as well, as is the Harty game. So I'd say there's a bit of pulling and dragging to be done with fixtures on that, but we'll be a lot wiser on that anyway. I don't know we'll ever be wiser in general, but tomorrow morning we'll be a lot wiser on this particular topic anyway.
Okay, unfortunately disappointment in the Munster Junior B Camogie final for Colaiste here in Ennis. Sacred Heart Clonakilty far too strong in that one, and then the soccer as well. There was games on Sunday yesterday in the Moloney Hardware Premier Division of the Clare District Soccer League. Yeah,
good win for Colaiste in the Camogie. They actually beat Clonakilty. They turned around in the second half, got an early goal in the second half to I think it was Sophie McNamara got it to ultimately win by 1-9 to 10 points. So huge congratulations to Aidan McGuane and all their team. 21 years since they last won it, so congratulations to them. Yeah, and on the soccer, difficult day yesterday to play soccer, but I suppose Bridge United and Avenue, a 9-goal thriller. Bridge with the winner in the final minute to win by 5 goals to 4, which was incredible. And we said here Friday that the Bridge were 4 points adrift of Avenue. Now they're just 1. And in the other game then it was Tulla 1, Newmarket Celtic 1, which means Newmarket stay a point ahead of Tulla. But if my maths are right, I think there's now just 5 points separating first from fourth, which makes for a real tidy into the season. And I'd say David O'Grady, the fixture secretary, will be picking and choosing these weekends and trying to make it go right down the boil, right down the home stretch. So I suppose firstly credit to everybody that got out and played a game yesterday in those conditions. And
not ideal conditions.
Fair play to the clubs as well for having their facilities and their pitches up to scratch for it. So 5-4 for Bridge United, and 1-1 draw between Tulla and Newmarket. So big results at the top of the table.
Okay, let's look ahead to this evening's game. So Mallow, the venue for the meeting of Cork and Clare in the Munster Hurling League, as we mentioned. Clare beating Limerick with that last gasp goal, and then Limerick beating Cork pretty well. Basically it looks like a Clare Limerick.
Well, yeah, it depends. I suppose it's an experimental enough Cork team out, although they have a couple of their UCC lads back tonight. So,
but you've alluded to kind of deeper issues within Cork hurling.
Yeah, but we'd say that anyway about mind games. The Munster Championship isn't too far away. But no, look, I suppose from a Clare perspective, a lot of the big news line is that after having knee surgery on the last week of August, Eivor Quilligan's back in goal, which just is a testament to the doggedness of the fella, the commitment of him. Like, we know he's a top class guy, so I think it's brilliant to see him back between the posts. Adam Hogan's a cornerback. Fikra O'Brien is making his debut at cornerback as well. The 6 mile bridge man, really excited to see him. Dylan McMahon and Aidan fall at wing back. I think there's a lot of people interested to see how these guys will get on. Diarmuid Ryan is in the centre. You've Oren Cahill and Ryan Taylor midfield. Again, your mix of a youth and experience there. Cathal Malone, Jack O'Neill and Niall O'Farrell. I think there's a lot of people really excited to see how Niall O'Farrell transfers to inter-county hurling. He was brilliant for Broadford last year and he's been exceptional at underage level for Clare. And then there's a really kind of inexperienced but exciting inside line for Clare with Sinan Dunford of Tubber, Colm O'Mara from Clonlara and Keith Smith from Killanena. So 3 big guys, 3 good ball winners. Colm O'Mara had a big impact the last day. He won the penalty that Mark Rogers converted to win the game for a finish. And then when you look down along the subs, he's back from his travels. David McInerney, Tony Kelly is home from honeymoon, so he's lining out on the bench this evening as well. We could see him in action. Mark Rogers, after scoring I think it was 111 the last day, he's on the bench to come on. Shane Meehan got a goal the last day, he's on the bench to come on. So it's a very, very exciting Clare panel, I think, but we will see them ringing the changes and I think they should be strong enough, I do, but at the same time it's more about performance and application, I think, than anything else. Yeah,
as you mentioned, they'll be ringing the changes, but I suppose guys who come in and particularly if they're not regular starters, you know, with the National League getting underway in less than a fortnight, they'll really want to take this as their opportunity to say, put their hand up and say, hey Brian Lohan, here I am, here's what I can do.
Oh, absolutely. And I suppose like Brian has to be careful in the depth of the panel because like, okay, it's Division 1B, but like we're starting against Dublin, a team that knocked Limerick out of last year's championship. Okay, so that's at home. And then the following week you're making that trip to
Speaking of narrative, what happens? They're going to Antrim.
You're making the trip to Tulla. So that's a tough 7-day period. So you're probably going to need your 27, 28 man selection panel, shall we say, to be able to dicky things around. And you know, there's a couple of tricky games in there, like I said it the other evening on Sideline View. Carlow on a Saturday evening, Dr Cullen Park, we saw Kilkenny come unstuck there a couple of years ago. Kildare Hurling will be on a fair high as well. So there's a lot. Wexford in the last game. So
and as we spoke about ahead of the league as well, Derrick, Clare are they're the big boys to be shot at. All Ireland champions only 2 years ago. There'll be a lot of teams who'll want to show how far they've progressed by taking them as a scalp. Yeah, and you go into any of these games undercooked and you could very well come unstuck. And I would imagine that the lads have looked at the calendar from now until that game with Waterford in the Munster Championship, and you're looking at the break weeks in between, planning to get to a 1B final, I'd imagine, and then you have your couple of weeks break. So like there's a calendar in place now for the county team that they'll be trying to stick to. And as I say, I don't think any of these lads will take any team for granted, and certainly not tonight for one. And then like win tonight and you get another competitive game next Saturday, and then you truck on to the Dublin game and on it goes from there. So it just gives you that bit of certainty and a more competitive game, which is what you need this time of year. Okay, brilliant stuff. Hopefully Clare get the job done this evening. Anything else you want to give a mention to? Yeah, I suppose we'll be talking about it more maybe on the Friday preview, but there's a kind of a historic week ahead for Clare ladies football insofar as St Joseph's Spanish Point are contesting the Munster Senior A Schools semi-final. First time, it's the last time a Clare team got to the final was in 1997, which was Spanish Point as well themselves. So they're kind of trying to bridge that near 30-year gap now. So that game is on in UL in the North Campus, I think, on Friday morning at 11:30. They're playing Mercy Montauk from Tralee, who are coached by Louise Nimora-Hurtig, who needs no introduction in terms of ladies football, the Kerry legend. So yeah, big task, but again, it's exciting times for that group, so we look forward to that as well. God, 1997 is nearly 30 years ago. It's frightening. Right, thanks for that timely reminder of how time moves so quickly, Derrick, for all of us. Thanks very much. Our sports editor Derrick Lynch with us, looking back on the weekend sport and looking ahead to this evening's Clare Cork clash, and that brings Monday's show to a close. Thanks for listening.